2 years ago, I broke up with Arrow. I never wanted to leave them, but it was safer for both of us then. I was learning how to talk to spirits, and even though I thought I was safe, that didn't stop me from being tracked down and chased away. I didn't tell Arrow why I needed to leave them. I didn't want them to be hurt, so I ran like a coward. After I was safe, I heard news of an alchemist and a healer that came into the town, on the outskirts of the forest I lived in. I watched from a distance for a long time, and it was them. So, like an idiot, I broke into their house. They forgave me soon after, and within months we were officially back together. And I told them everything. I moved into town with them, and I got a job as a mortician. I hear and see spirits sometimes, and a funeral home is a great place to practice listening to them. I figured out that most spirits at a funeral home are too upset with the aspect of being dead, so they aren't too keen on talking to a mortician, which is fair. Arrow, being an amazing healer and a master of potion making, had a job the opposite of mine in some ways, but that only made us complete each other. They proposed to me last year. We couldn't marry yet, but we were happy to be together. And today, I'm supposed to plan their funeral. I took a couple days off, and instead of planning their funeral, I did something that would cost me my license for sure. I researched necromancy, like my father did. Like my father was killed for. Since I could already talk to spirits, raising the dead was the next step. Usually raising the dead takes years of practice, but not the way I'm doing it. If I transfer my life energy into them, I could do it tonight. I've been up since their death. I can't sleep. I need to bring them back. Every moment of my life has poured into this since I found out about it. All they need to do is agree to it. Then I'll have my fiancé back. I gather my notes, spell, and contract. I grab Arrow's potion bag before heading out the door. I run through the dark streets, only illuminated by the pale moonlight. I can feel my heart sing at the prospect of being able to hold my beloved again. I miss their voice. I miss their touch. No matter how reckless I am acting, nothing will stop me from getting to them. I arrive at the funeral home and unlock the front door. I enter quietly. There hopefully shouldn't be anyone here at this hour, but that isn't always the case. I quietly walk through the carpeted halls and into the back room where the bodies are kept. I take the contract and reanimation spell out of my bag and place them down. Thank you. I hear Auror's voice from behind me. It sounded sad and lifeless. I turned to face them, but I couldn't see their spirit. They didn't want me to. Arrow, where are you? I asked, still looking around the room. I'm lying on the table behind you. You should be mourning, Venki. You must leave. Act like you can't speak to me. They paused. That would be best for both of us. No, it wouldn't. I'm not letting you go yet. You need to, and you know that. No, I don't. I can bring you back. Well, sort of. What? I went through my dad's old spells, and I was cut off by Arrow. You are not going to do necromancy. I am. I can do it. No, if you mess this up, you'll be dead too. It's better than being alone for the rest of my life, I yelled, completely devolving into tears. Venki, I don't want you to die because of me. Please, just let me do it. You hear quiet footsteps from the main part of the building. Arrow, I pleaded. Arrow, I pleaded. I am not leaving without you. Arrow's spirit appeared in front of me. They reach out to touch my face. It's cold where their hand lands, but I can't feel their touch. You can do it, they whisper, but please don't die. Their name on the contract was filled in. The steps from the main part of the building get closer. I take a breath, and using the spell and the contract, I begin reanimating them. The door flings open as I am beginning the spell, and of course, it has to be my boss. Venki, what in heaven's name are you doing? She yelled. I, obviously, could not answer because I was in the middle of the spell. My long hair lifts off my shoulders. My eyes start to tear up from the pain of the sensitivity caused by my dilating pupils. My boss runs towards me as she realizes what I am doing. She wants to get me away from Arrow's body to stop me. If only Arrow had agreed to this a little sooner. But just as my boss starts getting close enough to grab me, Arrow uses all of their strength and their spirit to grab one of the tables and push it into her. This gives me just enough time to finish the spell. I fall down, completely weakened by the use of the spell. I try to get up, but my legs give out from the weight from under me as I stand. My boss has gotten around the table that Arrow pushed at her. She runs at me and lifts her arm above my head, ready to strike me. I raise my own arm to cover my head and turn my face to the floor. You will not touch them. I looked up, and Arrow was up and grabbing my boss's arm. Arrow pushes her back, and she stumbles down. Arrow helps me up. Oh, by the way, I say to my boss as I reach into the potion bag. I quit. I throw a gray potion on the ground, and the room fills with smoke. While my boss is disoriented, we run out of the mortuary. Well, Arrow runs. I mostly stumble and fall. Arrow helps me out of the town and gets us to the woods. When we get far enough, we sit down. I'm still absolutely exhausted from reanimating Arrow. I lean on Arrow's shoulder and take a deep breath. The way my father's spells work is it combines the most essential part of the body, the skeleton, and the soul. It burns away the muscles and fat, and the soul takes a more physical form, like a see-through skin around the skeleton with the soul's color, akin to a jellyfish, if a jellyfish had a skeleton. Thank you. Arrow broke the silence. Are you aware that your hair is white now? What? I sit up and grab a lock of my hair and look at it. They're right. It's white, or at least most of it is. Arrow looks into my eyes. Your eyes, they've lost their color. They sigh. Thank you. I didn't want you to feel like you needed to bring me back. I didn't want this to happen. I'm just glad that we're still able to be together. Me too. But what are we going to do? We can't go home. I look like this, and you look like... They pause. Well, you still look like you, just scarier and more tired. We can't live in town anymore. I narrow my eyes at them. Just because my hair is white doesn't make me scary. But you're right. But I know where we can go. I get up and stumble again. Arrow gets up too and catches me. Where, exactly? Well, it's where I was going to bury you, before I remembered my father's spells. Excuse me? No, it's really good, I swear. I stop leaning on them and walk further into the woods. Let's go. They follow me, grumbling. You're not mad, right? I ask Arrow. I'm not mad. I'm just concerned. Could this really not wait until morning? There would be more people there if I did it then. Tonight was the best. There would be more people there if I did it then. Tonight was the best bet. Plus, I didn't want to wait any longer to hold your hand again. I take Arrow's hand and smile at them, and start running. Ugh! Arrow screams as I pull them along with me. We both start laughing as we run through the woods. We don't know what's going to happen next, but at least we'll be together for it. We stop. Here we are. This is where I used to live before I came back to you. The dark, dilapidated castle looms above us as we stare at it. Wow, when you run away from your lover, you really do it in style. Hey, at least we ran together this time. Arrow takes my hand as we walk up to the castle together.